Shadow work. So I had a revelation about healing yesterday, and how it like hides from us because other people don't talk about it. You know, when people tell you like you need to heal, and you look on what healing is, it makes it seem like it's just like meditating and yoga and taking bubble baths and essential oils and buying yourself something nice, whatever, stuff like that. And that's really ambiguous and confusing to people that are like actually really hurting and like really in pain. It seems to them like, well, that's not going to make me feel better. uh and I know that's like a step. That's an definitely important step. That stuff all helps. But what I don't like, people don't talk about what really actually is healing. Is like it's dark and it's negative, and it's uncovering that negative emotion that you buried for so long, and you didn't even, when you start like actually uncovering it, you start realizing you had like emotions that you didn't even know you had. Like, you didn't even know I was ashamed. And that is a big one, I think, is like, we get angry a lot, and anger is our big shadow, but really under our anger is shame. And even under that is fear. And it's just the fear of others, the fear of being judged by others is a big reason I think that people hide their pain. And that's just doing everybody just such a disservice that we're not talking about it. Like, I didn't know that I was even as angry as I was. Like, I knew I was angry in a sense. I didn't know how deeply I actually, like, it wasn't even really about anger. It was just, it, it's more about, like, fear. I mean, fear of being alone, fear of being abandoned, fear of, our parents, like, send us these signals that we're like not worthy to be noticed in this way, so we don't even realize about ourselves that we have these emotions. And, and then it just gets projected outwards. And I had this revelation that, like, how much our society suppresses sex, and how it's created this like just huge projection outwards of people that have suppressed their own sexuality. And then, like, it comes out a lot when the like people go out on the weekends and they drink and stuff like that, and they get that moment where they have, a time to be loose and free and not judged. And then it comes out. People get dark and they do really fucked up things. I don't think they're so aware of it because they suppress that in themselves. Like, for instance, like, how a lot of times when, like, a girl will start to open up to a guy and try to, like, be friendly or whatever, and he'll like kind of like go in too much, because I think he's just like suppressed that so much. And that's like, I'm realizing this now, like, how subconscious I think actually that a lot of what the way a lot of men like approach women and stuff is subconscious. Like, they don't realize they're like coming on so close and so in your face. They just don't realize that. And it's just because it's so suppressed. Like, they're never allowed to talk about their desires for that. And I think that's what's doing people a disservice more than anything. Is like, it's not even just talking about negligence. We don't talk about sex, and that is just has created, oh my god. It's sad the way just the extent that we've suppressed sex to the point where, like, a lot of women, the women who are more, the women, truly women are the more sexual gender. And that's what we're realizing now is that men actually project this outwards, but because they deny it in themselves. And that's the crazy thing to realize. Is that like all this time we always, women always joke like men think about sex too much. Really, no, not consciously enough. It's probably a subconscious thing going on. I'm sure they're having dreams and shit, but like consciously they're like ashamed of it, and so they project it out towards women because they just like they subconsciously have this and that's just crazy to realize. Just all the things that scar me, all the trauma I experienced over is just so subconscious. And that's why I think it's just so important to talk about this stuff and talk about the negative things, like, or and I don't see, I don't even like using this word. People just, I'm using it because I don't know, for its own connotation, because to make people comfortable with uncomfortability. I mean, Jesus Christ, like, just like how scared people are to be vulnerable, how scared people are to be themselves, has created this like fake society where we all are like just like using each other for what we can do for each other, and we're not actually truly valuing each other for like who they are, because we're not actually valuing ourselves for who we are by being true to ourselves. And that's why, like, I know that I'm probably a little bit off-putting. I've got a little bit of like a strong like attitude approach because I just had a lot of anger built up over the years over this stuff, and I hate